How's it going, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band reviews and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I posted an album review of Tillion's newest record, so go check that out. I'll also be posting an album review of Beartooth's newest record, Disease, so also check that out. I hope to have that either tomorrow or I hope to have it out on Friday, so definitely be on the lookout for that. I've been posting live sets. I will be posting one of Andreas today, and then I'll be posting Royal Codas tomorrow, as well as a ton of interviews, one with Rome Hero Foxes that I posted on Monday, Deeply Wovens that comes out today, and then Window Runner that comes out on Friday. So keep your eyes peeled. Definitely check out the content on the channel because I post pretty frequently, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But tonight we're going to be talking about Hail the Sun's newest record, Mental Knife.
I will never be at peace. I don't know what's wrong with me.
So I want to give a huge shout out to Inception Press along with Equal Vision. They sent me this record over a couple weeks early and I've had it in my possession. So thank you so much to you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's awesome that I get to work with a label that I have grown to love and just have some of my favorite bands on it. So definitely cool for that respect. So thank you guys so much. But for those of you who aren't familiar with Hail the Sun, they are a band from California. I actually found out about their stuff with their first EP, Elephantitis, and I was kind of hooked at that point. Wake was really awesome, and they signed with Blue Swan and did a record with them. And then more recently, in the past couple years, they signed with Equal Vision, and they released Culture Scars as well as Secret Wars last year, which happened to be one of my favorite EPs. And they've just been killing it. They're going to be on tour with Polyphia and Covet later this fall, so definitely check out this band if you haven't already, if you just happen to stumble across this video. And I hope that you guys are excited for this album. I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Gouge and Uproot. This is a intro track. It's a little bit longer than an intro. I'd say it's kind of like a mini song, if that makes sense, but it really has a cool vibe to it. It's dark, it's eerie. I love Donnie's vocals and how they kind of add to that dark tonality, as well as those sort of ominous vibes that really kind of bring out in this song. I think it is a great lead into Mental Knife, and I like how the song kind of picks up in energy towards the end to kind of really get you focused into the next track, which is track number 2, Mental Knife, the title track of the record. And this one happens to be one of my favorites. I think that I knew that right from the start. As soon as I listen to the track, the single, I was hooked already. The song has a great groove and an awesome catchiness to it. The guitar work from Shane and Arik are super impressive. As per usual, I think their guitar writing is awesome, and I've told Shane that many times, and Arik. But I definitely like it. This one also plays off of sort of the darker vibes of the intro track, which I really didn't pick out initially, but as I've listened to it more and more, I feel like those two things are kind of in tandem as well. You can especially hear that in the bridge of the track. It really kind of, harkens back to that first track, which is really cool. High energy that really shows off a lot of what the band can do. Obviously, what they do well. Some great drumming and some great vocals from Donnie as well. And I think John, while he maybe not is at the forefront of the track, I think he really holds it down as well too. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Suffocating Syndrome. This was released in tandem with Mental Knife as well, and it happens to be another single. It is also one of my favorites as well, even though that this one is a bit heavier than Mental Knife, which is definitely cool. Another track that keeps the energy levels at that high peak, which is definitely cool. And at certain parts, especially in the breakdown-esque parts of the song, definitely remind me of a lot of Chiodos. I would say more in this styling of Craig Owens. I would say like kind of like the first record, All Well That Ends Well, and like Bone Palace Parade. Those two definitely got that sort of vibe to it, and I like that. They also have this sort of dissonant tonality that obviously Chiodos is very famous for. Another cool point is in the first verse, you can hear this sort of contrasting guitar part. I could could hear it in the speakers of my computer. You could hear that they were kind of separated. It's definitely a unique part in the song that I feel like a lot of people really may or may not miss out on, depending on if you're a guitar player or not. But that was something really cool that caught my ear. And I also feel like this song has the right amount of edge, but definitely borrows a lot from their most recent release, Secret Wars. So we're going to move into track number 4, which is Devotion Cuts. This one is another one of my favorites, and I think this one is going to be an underrated track off the record. The drumming work is so cool, and I think that is a lot of what intrigues me about this track mostly. I just like how the overall just drum patterns and the overall vibe of the track shifts as the song progresses. It really doesn't stay to a certain tempo, and it doesn't, really stick to a certain vibe either. There's just kind of a lot of switch up, and I like that. I also like that John, their bass player, has more of a pronounced role. I think that Arik and Shane take more of that sort of lead and more of that sort of higher register in terms of the guitar parts, which is definitely nice, and they don't rely on mainly more chordy parts. It's more riffs, which is cool. I also like that there's this awesome sort of cultural scars, words of gratitude sort of structure and vibe from the 1 minute and 20-second mark to around the 2 minutes and 10-second mark. It definitely gave me that sort of vibe to it, and once you listen to it, maybe you might get the same sort of feelings. And it has a similar progression to that song as well. I don't know if quarterly, I don't know what the word for it is, but if it's this similar chord structure or chord thing, I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought, but I think that has that sort of similar vibe to it, and I definitely like that about that track mostly. So we're gonna move into track number 5, which is Stranger in Our Pictures. This is another single that has been released, and I would say that initially I wasn't entirely sold on the track, maybe just as being a single, but I think it really fits with the song, or the whole album. I think it is a nice change of pace from Devotion Cuts, which is a little bit more spastic in terms of just the arrangement and the sort of tempo changing. This one feels very much in their wheelhouse, and this sort of plays off more of the vibes of Culture Scars as well. But I think I've really come to grow to love this sort of softer and tender moments. While they are a little bit few, I think that they do them very well. John's bass lines really bring this song into a full circle moment. It kind of has a fuller sound to it, and I think it is obviously attributed to having this song being more ethereal in this sort of guitar writing and structure, as well as I got some strong Circa Survive vibes. I know that they had toured with them with Sean, so it's rightfully so, and I know that Johnny has referenced Circa Survive as one of his main influences, so you can definitely hear that very much so in this track. I think that it's a nice contrast too in terms of the softer verses as opposed to the sort of more upbeat, more pungent choruses and bridge in this track. I would say that this one is an absolute sleeper. I think that every time I listen to it and the more times I cycle through to this record, I really come to grow to love this track more and more. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is A Lesson in Lust. This one is one of my favorites. I think it's by far one of the most unique tracks off the record, maybe excluding another one, which I'll be talking about in a minute. But it's just got a unique groove to it. I think is unlike any of the other tracks that we've heard so far. Johnny's screams have more of aggression and heaviness to it that I wasn't expecting. I thought that this one was going to be more of a more melodic kind of bass track, but it really kind of, again, borrows a lot from Secret Wars, which is definitely cool. There's a nice little solo at the 1 minute and 35-second mark to around the 150 mark, which is really cool. And I like this sick pattern change at the 2 minutes and 5-second mark to around the 2 minutes and 10-second mark. It's just really unique. It's tight, it's super fast, and I think it will take a lot of people by surprise. The bridge really breaks up sort of the chaos of this track. It slows things down and really enters into a cool build-up moment. But I also feel like the ending just really sends it home in the best way possible. There's this sort of tappy, syncopated guitar riff over some really awesome drum lines and bass parts. I think the sort of stops and starts really make it interesting, and I think that is by far one of the coolest parts that they've done in a hot minute. So definitely check out this track when it comes out, because I think it's one of the best off the record for sure. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Risk Reward. This is a nice change of pace again from the sort of heaviness of the previous track, A Lesson in Lust. This one has more of a softer sort of jazzy vibe to it, almost like a, I wouldn't even say a big band, definitely more on that sort of softer vibe, jazzy. It has a jazzy chord progression to it, and it's a welcomed addition in terms of the sort of intense ending of the last track, and I like that this one is just solo guitar and Donnie's vocals. I feel like you don't really get that too often, and if it was, I know it's been a song a while ago. I know that they did a song on their last tour with I the Mighty on their headliner album tour. I forget the song. I can't remember. If I remember it, I'll try to put text above. But if not, it's really a unique track that I feel like is a nice break from the chaos. So we're going to move into track number 8, which is Feel It When Convenient. I don't know why I stuttered at any point in that song, but anyway, this one is one of my favorites as well, and I think that this one has no problem throwing you right into the track. The way that they have these sort of switches in this track is really fluid, and I love how they kind of just thought it out. I just love the structure and the arrangement of it. I think it is underrated, and just the constant amount of interesting rhythmic patterns is really cool. Also, I like that this vocal layering throughout the track is really what makes the songs. I think that, in my opinion, Donnie's vocals sound really awesome in this, and I like that they harmonize, but I also like that there's certain parts where they're kind of almost playing in tandem with each other as well. I think that they really went psychedelic in certain parts of this track, which I think harkens back to a lot of songs on Wake, and that's really cool that they are really kind of taking aspects of old and bringing it into their new sound as well. I like that they don't really kind of shy away from that. They really kind of embrace it and bring it in. So we're going to move into track number 9, which is Arcane Justice. This one is another favorite of mine too, and I feel like it is a good track because it is fairly straightforward. A lot of the tracks so far have been kind of out of left field, kind of, I wouldn't even say strange, but just unique tracks, and this one is just kind of that center base, center home sort of track where, I feel like they weren't doing a ton, but they didn't have to do a ton because they have done a lot of interesting things throughout the record. However, I will say the only risk that they took was in the bridge. I think it gets a little bit heavier, definitely remind me a lot of some of the tracks from Secret War. I would say the first track, which I can't remember the name of it because again, I'm getting super old, but I definitely appreciate that. I think it is really cool, really well constructed, strong track that I feel like has some really awesome harmonies in this track as well. So we're going to move into track number 10, which is Glass Half Empty. This is the most recent single that they released, and it happens to be one of my favorites as well. I think it is one of the best tracks off the record, along with A Lesson in Lust. It is just that next level catchy, and just the instrumentals have this great groove and swing to it that I felt like were just immediately when I listened to it, like when I listened to this record the first time when I got it, I was hooked. And I still am hooked to this track. It has some really awesome energy to it. I think Johnny's vocals really shine super well in this track. I would say mostly in the bridge, but just generally the song with his vocals sound awesome. I hope that they play this track live because I feel like it will translate super well, as well as I think that it has some awesome moments of melodicness, but also has a little bit of heavier moments mixed throughout. Great structure, great arrangement, and I don't think I can sing any more praises about this track than I have already done so. So we're going to move into the last track, the track number 11, which is On Existence. This one has some really awesome melodic spaciousness to it. I think that this track and the Glass Have Empty track, the track that preceded it, I think should have been switched. I would have loved for this track to follow up Arcane Justice. I think it would have better suited the arrangement and the vibe of the record. And also I feel like in some aspects kills the energy of the record, and just kind of, if you're cycling back through the record, gouging up root, I think that it is just another soft track onto another sort of softer track, and I think that just in my opinion could have been switched around. I think it is a solid end track, but it left me wanting more. I also feel like the track just kind of abruptly stops and really doesn't finish out in the way that I would have expected it to, but nonetheless I think it is a solid track. So some pros and cons that I have about it: I love that they blended old and new. You can hear aspects of Wake, you can hear aspects of Elephantitis, their first record, or first known record at least. And then they also have vibes of their more recent work, which is Culture Scars and Secret Wars, and they just kind of found that level of cohesion that I was really expecting. And I was kind of concerned too, because I was unsure how they were going to follow up Secret Wars, because I really loved that EP, and I think that they did an awesome follow-up. It's unique, it's got some really heavy moments, it's got some really tender, soft moments, but it's really got a nice balance of both, and it takes you for a journey, and I think that it does a great job from start to finish. The main gripe that I have about it is what I talked about previously, which was about the track number 11 on Existence and Glass Have Empty just being switched. I honestly truly feel like this record is pretty close to flawless. They really did an awesome job following up Secret Wars, and like I said, I was really hesitant in terms of what they could do, but the singles really kind of sold me on this record if I wasn't already sold already. But I feel like they have been putting out their best work, and this is just a great follow-up to Secret Wars. So my overall rating for Hail the Sun's Mental Knife, I'm going to be giving it an incredible 9.8 out of 10. It's definitely a record for you to check out if you haven't checked out this band already, and if you have checked out this band, I feel like you'll get some nice nuggets, little Easter eggs throughout the record that I feel like most people will enjoy. But let me know in the comments what you think about the singles so far, what you think the record will sound like. I would love to hear what you think about it, and also when the record comes out, let me know what your favorite tracks are below as well. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. I'm so excited to see them next month. I think they're gonna kill it on this tour, and I also feel like you guys will really enjoy Mental Knife if you are a big Hail the Sun fan. So if you enjoyed this interview, or why am I saying interview? If you enjoyed this review, make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up. It goes a long way. Make sure to share it. It means the absolute world. I keep getting bigger and bigger, and it just fills my heart with an immense amount of joy, and just humbleness. So thank you so much for checking out this channel. I hope you enjoy the content, and I hope that you like it enough to subscribe. But my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.